It's Friday, May 9th. I'm Adam Walsh, and this is The Signal. All right, folks, after more than a decade, the East Coast Music Awards are back in St. John's and on the go this week. Today on the show, a conversation about the music industry, the ins and outs of the business behind some of your favorite local music. All right, music show. Folks, we're talking about the biz of music. As you're listening, if you've got thoughts for us, questions for us around the music industry, the signal at cbc.ca. You can text us, 709-327-8206. We've got a couple of folks in studio, and then they're going to be here the whole time, so not then, but as I talk to them. We will also be talking to some different musical acts, right? Quote the Raven, a fantastic local duo. We've got Neon Dreams on tap in the show as well as Jah'Mila, and full intros to come. But as we go through, we'll talk to some performers, musicians, about what they're doing. And I will now introduce the folks with me here in the studio. Holly Hudson, Program and Development Lead at the SOCAN Foundation. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Adam.
When'd you get to town?
Wednesday.
Where are you from?
Toronto, Ontario, and I like it out here. I could see leaving it all behind and just staying on the East Coast.
Stay here. And you've had some food since you've been here?
I have. I've had Towton. I've had
there you go. Some
cod tongue and Newfie fries.
Okay, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, excellent. So yeah, you're getting the full immersion here. Sitting next to Holly, Andrea England, singer-songwriter, founder of Four Chords and The Truth. Hello.
Hello. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Fellow East Coaster, right?
I am.
All right.
Proud to say it.
Proud to say, fellow East Coaster. So when did you get into town?
Let me think. I don't know. The days run into one another, but yesterday.
Time's a flat circle nowadays. I mean, ever since the pandemic.
That's true.
How was the flight down? Everything good?
The flight was uneventful, which is good.
Yeah, which is important. What's it like to be in the biz for when you're coming in for the ECMAs? What's the excitement around and what's the feeling when you come into these things?
I mean, I grew up in Nova Scotia. I started as a singer-songwriter. I remember ECMAs being so aspirational. So coming back here, and I always say coming back home. I'm not from Newfoundland, but I'm from the East Coast. So it just feels good to be coming back home and to be so proud of the musicians here, what we've accomplished, what they've accomplished, seeing the new ones. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the buzz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you at? Have you got in yesterday? So have either of you been at anything so far for the awards and then everything around it?
Yeah, the award show and
so last
some
night,
meetings, and then of course the socializing with folks. Did the red carpet. That was fun. Mm-hmm. Went to the reception with the Music Newfoundland and Labrador. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right off the plane, right into socializing.
Into it. Yeah, right into it.
Tons of great showcases. The ECMAs does a great job of getting all of the artists out in front of the people multiple times a day for the week. So I saw Nick Earl at the Ship Pub last night. Fantastic show.
Great. Okay, so you've been to the Ship. So yeah, you're well versed on stuff here so far.
Yes.
So the award show, meeting folks, saying hi to everyone. There's also conversations. What are the conversations like when you're running into people? Because you're watching the groups and you're kind of the red carpet bit and all of this other stuff. But what's the buzz of what people are talking about when you come to these things? I know the range must be pretty big.
I mean, the music business is changing all the time. Yeah. So I think, everybody has their own perspective, their own worries, their own fears. At a thing like this, a lot of it is who's new? Who do I have to go see? Cool. What are the showcases I can't miss? This morning I was on a royalties panel with SOCAN. I was representing the CMRRA, and we were talking about royalty sources. How do you get paid? Because in order to keep doing this, you have to also you have to know your craft, and then you have to know the business of the craft so that you can continue to pay to keep doing your craft.
I'm going to go back to that second in a question. Tell me a bit about how you both got individually into what you're doing. How does one go about for SOCAN? How do you where does that come from?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at SOCAN Foundation. We are a grant award and programming arm of SOCAN, supporting the almost 200,000 members of SOCAN, which is Canada's largest performing rights organization.
I even looked up the acronym. I know you have it, but I was Googling it because I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Hey,
the Society of Composers, Authors, and Music Publishers of Canada. Is
Nailed
that
it? Yes.
Yeah. I was nervous. I like to read the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's a performing rights organization, kind of like ASCAP or BMI in the States, and it's free to become a member. So our programming is, open to any Canadian. And I got into it. So at the foundation, working on the granting side and the funding side of the industry, I was a full-time grant writer for many years, working with artists like Jeremy Dutcher and The Hallucination and Havaya Mighty, and also trying to access funding for an artist management company. I know quite a bit about the financial behind the scenes of artists in Canada and the different challenges they face. And now hopefully what I like to do at the ECMAs is really just talk to the artists and see where their challenges lie when it comes to funding their careers.
Grant writing.
Yes.
How does one, there must be a pretty big knack to getting used to it and a talent to it for, in the beginning, it being a little bit of what am I doing compared to starting to churn them out. What's that process like for your learning around it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like a slot machine, right? The more you know, you have to obviously put some work into the writing of them, but I try to tell artists anyone can do it. Try to take it on yourself if you have the time, and we try to make our grants super accessible, but yeah, it's just kind of like a quantity thing.
Just put it out into the world and hope that something, you hit the triple cherries or whatever.
Yeah, it's like applying for a job. You might not have all the qualifications, but who knows, the funding might need to get paid out, so there's still a chance that you'll receive it.
Wow, right on. So do you like grant writing?
I mean, I don't know how much anyone likes grant writing, but I've got to say I like administering grants and developing programming. So I'm lucky that that's what I get to do now. But I still try to mentor artists on grant writing and demystify it a bit, because there's a lot of I don't know, it can be quite complicated.
Yeah. Jeremy Dutcher, good grant writer, bad grant. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, well I would do them. So.
Andrea, what about yourself?
How much time do you have? I started out as a singer-songwriter, and I ended up being on the business side because, really when you're first representing yourself, you have to do all of it yourself. And then I was kind of on my way and had a little bit of a car accident and had to take some time off and needed a source of income. So at the time, I ended up first joining or getting a job at the Songwriters Association of Canada in membership. Interestingly enough, I'm on the board now 20 years later.
Right.
So
Congrats.
thank you. It's been a long journey there. But, I continue to do music and write. But then after Songwriters Association of Canada, I ended up moving over to work at CMRRA, the Canadian Musical Reproduction Rights Agency. And I work with publishers and supporting self-published songwriters at CMRA. And then I still, make records. I still write with and for other artists, and I host a songwriter series. So for me, it's kind of all music business, all the time. And, I couldn't have predicted the path that I'm on, but I love it.
Four Chords and the Truth.
Yes.
How many? I've got it here in front of me. To date, is it 120 or winning?
128.
128 songwriters have played Four Chords and the Truth. Tell folks a bit about that journey.
So, it's a songwriter series.
Yeah.
It's, I was inspired by Bruce Guthrow, God rest his soul, incredible human and advocate for songwriters, and by the Bluebird Cafe and so forth. When I was in Toronto, I'm in Toronto, and there really wasn't a kind of a grassroots. There are other songwriter circles there. The Songwriter Association of Canada has one, and there really wasn't a kind of an understanding of the songwriter circle and of songwriters and what they and what we do, like there is on the East Coast. You can go into any pub. You can go. Obviously, we have many songwriter circles out here, but people are really familiar. I think on the East Coast, what we do a really good job of is valuing songwriting as a craft. I found in Toronto it was kind of an unknown quantity. So I was working at the time with a lot of performing songwriters and non-performing songwriters. I thought, well, I'll just do a round. One of the songwriters in particular, Liz Rodriguez, who's an incredible, very well-established songwriter, but doesn't have an artist career. To be quite honest, my husband would come home and hear her singing, or any of the songwriters I was working with singing, and say to me, oh my goodness, people need to hear that. So I booked a gig down at the Dakota, brought out Liz, brought out Colin McDonald from the Trues, who I was working with at the time, and Paul Reddick. I wanted to show multi-genres at once on stage. So we did that very first show. Serena Ryder was in the house and got up and did a song.
There you go. Yeah.
Show wasn't even over. People were like, when are you doing the next one?
Right on.
So it was just going to be one show.
Yeah.
But by the end of the night, I'd booked the second. And I keep booking the second and the third. And so now we'll be at 30 shows on May 22nd.
Wow. Very cool. I love how it's something, you start something and then it can just kind of organically turn into this bigger thing.
I think if you just follow your heart and follow the audience, I mean, if people want something, try to give it to them, right?
100%. Folks, this is The Signal. I'm Adam Walsh. We're talking about the music industry because the East Coast Music Awards are back in town after a decade. St. John's this week. Lots going on. So we figured here on the show we would chat music, business. We've got some folks on the line joining us shortly. I don't normally play promos during the show, but because it's about this specific show that we're on now, and it's about next week and through the summer, I went a little overboard with this, so it's only like less than a minute, so be patient with it, and then we'll get right back to the show, but here you go.
Every spring there comes a day when green thumbs everywhere unite, readying themselves for the planting and the practical pruning, raising their beds with hope for a bounty of backyard vegetables. That day is now. The time has come. Gardening, Tuesdays only on The Signal, 12:05 on the island, half an hour earlier in most of Labrador.
That's right. Gardening season kicks off Tuesday, folks, every Tuesday through the grow season. It is back. So for the green thumbs out there who call us every Tuesday, gardening's back next week. We're talking music today on the show, though, and so here with me in studio, Holly Hudson, Program and Development Lead at SOCAN Foundation, Andrea England, singer-songwriter, founder of Four Chords, and The Truth. Joining us on the line, Quote the Raven, Jordan Coker, Kirsten Rodden. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
We're great. How are you doing?
Great. Hanging out, talking about music. Congrats on the noms. What is it? Album of the Year, Fans' Choice Video of the Year, Roots Release of the Year. That's fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing. Honestly, it's
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool.
You're, I'm super grateful that you can make time for the show today, given how busy everything is. Tell us a bit just about that. How busy you are right now.
We just got out of 8 meetings with export delegates and trying to book more shows and around the world and get some music supervision stuff. And so we literally ran to our car and are chatting now.
I love it. Radio from the car after so you had this meeting. What's the outlook or the future looking like for tour and those plans for whatever you can say at the moment? But what's the aspiration here?
Yeah, I think for us, oh, sorry, Kirsten.
No, that's okay. I was just going to say, I think, we've really wanted to expand into Europe and the UK. So we've kind of made that a priority in who we wanted to talk to. And we've had some really good meetings. We've done a few things in the past, but we're just hoping to expand in that market and kind of hopefully tour more all over the world, but with a bit of a focus there.
How does this compare? So you've got these, what you're trying to do. You've been musicians for the past, 13 years, I think.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first started touring and trying to get all that together and the learning process?
Yeah, it was a lot of cold calls. I used to work at Kirsten's mom's bar, and I don't drink, so I'm a terrible bartender. And yeah, no, like I literally would just call like a bar, a venue, like just the most random place, a coffee shop, whatever it was. And what we would do is we'd go out for 4 to 6 weeks, making, maybe $100, $200 a night kind of a thing. And we would just go because, it's so expensive to leave the island that you kind of make the best of it while you're away. And as things have kind of progressed, like we've established more and more anchor dates, which, are typically gigs that pay a little bit more. And then you can kind of do more establishment in smaller markets around that anchor date.
How much work is all of the business side of music? Because there's the playing, which is also a lot of work for like coming up with it, recording it, all of that. But this planning bit and pitching yourselves and trying to figure out all of that for touring, like how much work is it?
It takes a whole different brain, I think. Yeah, I think it was a lot more work than we had anticipated at the beginning. We're very lucky now because we do have Canadian booking agents, so they do take on a lot of that work. But yeah, at the beginning it was really hard and it was a lot of investment, but it is a small business at the end of the day. So that has to happen in order to hopefully see a return at some point, which we can happily say has been the case in the Canadian market, which is great. But yeah, it is difficult. Again, a lot of cold calling. The pitching thing is really hard for us. We're pretty self-deprecating, I would say. And also, to just tell someone that you're a great band, I don't feel like it works all that well. So it's nice that we do have someone that can do that for us. But yeah, I guess it was just having to show up and kind of prove yourself is really the main thing that we have found.
All right, let me put it back to you folks are staying on the line in your car. So let me put it back to my guests here in the studio, and just to see what they have to say about it. Right. So we've got Andrea England here, Holly Hudson. Thoughts for both of you on just like this discussion around making money in music.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sounds like quote the Raven. Y'all have the right idea. At SOCAN, we kind of see every artist as having their own entrepreneurial career, that you do have to have that kind of business-sided mind if you, while you're getting started. We have incubators where we try to support the business skills for artists, but I liked what they said about all those export meetings. That's great because live is such an important revenue stream for artists, so you can only build your Canadian audience so much. So focusing on getting in front of export delegates, that's a great part of these conferences.
What about yourself?
I 100% agree. And in fact, I think you folks are really good at promoting yourselves. Having met you at the ECMAs, we had lunch. A friend, I think it was Mallory Johnson, said, come on over. And we all ended up having something to eat together. And really the best way to promote yourself, I think, is to be yourselves. Invite people out to your gigs, and which you do, and show up as yourselves, do a great show. And again, ECMA really helps amplify and bring, the business and exporters to musicians. So you're doing it right, because we all know who you are.
Oh, well, thank you.
And for both of you, so then what's like through the weekend? What else are you up to?
Yeah, we've got 3 showcases. Playing at the Majestic tonight at 9, tomorrow at the Rock House at 8, and then we're doing the big songwriter circle on Sunday at the Jag Soundhouse. Which honestly, it's the gig we first snuck into at the ECMAs. It's always been a dream. We've watched people perform that show in the past, and to be a part of it after, attending this is our 6th ECMA, even through some virtual ones and all that stuff. But, to be a part of that show is really special for us.
Tell us, a songwriting circle, just give a little description what that's like for kind of feeling each other out when you're part of it and what you're doing with other folks.
I think it's the best. It's the best show. It's always our favorite ones. I think being able to be on stage and hear other people's songs so intimately like that. And also there's sometimes collaboration, which is really fun. So people jump on each other's songs. So that's really great. I think it's the best thing when you are a music lover and also a performer to be able to see some of your favorite people play and then also get to sing your own songs. It can be a little bit intimidating as well, of course, because you have your peers kind of staring at you from right next to you. But it's always the most rewarding, I will say. And I think they've always been our favorite shows.
Holly, Andrea, for both of you, right? So you've got the business side of music that we're talking about today, but also the enjoyment side. So how do you kind of go in and out of that for yourselves and for your own processes for these, whether it's like an award show or for whatever else you're doing?
I mean, for me, it's kind of one and the same.
Yeah.
I came at this as a songwriter.
Yeah.
And as host of Four Chords and the Truth, I curate it, I host it, I perform on it. It's kind of a full circle thing, but I agree it can be, you're in the moment and you're just feeling the music and you're getting that immediate interaction with the audience and with your peers. And I don't know, it doesn't get better than that, playing a songwriter circle.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah. That sounds really cool.
I've done so many of them. My very first songwriter circle I was ever in was the SOCAN Songwriter Circle in New Brunswick. So there's a long legacy, and I think it's very aspirational for a lot of people to play key circles that they really want to be on.
What happens if we don't have SOCAN support?
Well, I mean, that's how the royalties get paid, so I think the industry would come to a halt, but luckily the artists will always have SOCAN support. We do a lot of advocacy and policy work within, we're about a 300-person organization, and keeping artists the priority, the members, top of mind is the priority of the organization. But yeah, there has to be a middleman who's collecting the royalties and distributing them, so... Yeah, it's honestly we're more concerned about, do we have the public support of artists and the cultural institutions, and making sure that everybody realizes the value of music as an industry and as a community builder.
I mean, that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, well, it's not all my job, It's all of our job.
It's everyone's, the 300 members of it.
Music is a easier thing to sell, like everybody can kind of buy into the importance of music. Everybody enjoys it. So, yeah.
What's for royalties? So what is the playing field like these days for royalties? Because I mean, I hear stuff about streaming, and I'll ask our the other two on the phone here now about this shortly as well. But from streaming royalties, how are people doing with it? How's it going?
So, yeah, as you were saying, the business side of music, unfortunately, royalties from streaming, that can't be, your main source of income unless maybe you're The Weeknd. So we're really, we try to encourage artists to find as many revenue streams as possible, whether that's live, which starts with showcasing at conferences and festivals like this so that you can tour and then you can hopefully export to different markets. What are some other good income streams or revenue streams?
I mean, there are so many, but there's obviously performing rights, which was what you're talking about, and reproduction rights, CMRA as well. There are neighboring rights. I think the missing component, royalties don't just happen. People have to, in order to get paid royalties, you need to tell us your IP, what you own, what song you wrote. You need to, perhaps engage a music publisher too that work on your behalf. You have to have a team, right? But at the end of the day, it's a songwriter sitting in a room with other writers creating intellectual property, and then you need to tell the people who pay those royalties, regardless of the organization. First of all, you have to be affiliated with all the ones that you need to be affiliated with, and then you need to tell us your share of each of these songs so that we can rightfully pay you for the activity related to those songs. So, I mean, that's really, you have to be a business person. You have to be aware of, SOCAN, of CMRA, of Actor Rex, of Connect, of SOPROC, of, all of these different organizations.
All the acronyms, yeah.
All of them. And there are more.
Jordan, Kirsten, what about for you two, right? For whether it's from the streaming side to the royalties for stuff being played on CBC Radio, for instance, how's that working for Quote the Raven?
I mean, the biggest probably financial is Sirius XM Radio. That can average $50 US a play sometimes, which is massive if you get on a play, But again, if you think about like the number of songs that come out in the world during the run of a day, 60,000 or something on Spotify like that, getting on these things are not always super likely. For us, we've gotten on a couple of times, and that's been such a huge revenue booster for us. But also, getting plays on CBC, that's a huge thing, and also like the connective things that result from some of these opportunities as well. Like I think to assume that one revenue stream is going to pay the bills is just not practical, and to assume that one revenue stream can lead into another is the practicality of it. And so what we do is we sign up for as much as possible. We make sure that like we have the correct ISRC codes for our music and stuff like that. And there's so much jargon you can kind of get into. And if you're picking up a guitar for the first time and writing a song for the first time, this information, like, it's available, but it's not always commonplace, and it does take a little bit of communication and research, honestly, just to kind of get your music registered and collecting those extra revenue streams for you.
This must be why groups that assist with this type of a thing are so important, because I'm just thinking, you're juggling so much: your craft, writing songs, you're touring, you're also like putting stuff out on social media, figuring all that out, getting folks to maybe eventually book stuff for you, and you start just being like, I want to play music, and then there's this whole other education.
I think
sorry, go ahead.
when you start. No, I was just going to say, I think that, when you start out as an artist, you think that, you can just write music, release it, and kind of make a living at it. And people can, don't get me wrong, but I think if you want to establish yourself as an artist, nationally or internationally, there is this whole separate component. And it is a huge learning curve, but it is totally worth it. And even when you do get the teammates to do some of the work for you, it is still so good to know those practices yourself, so you can make sure that that your team is doing the proper work and good work, and really working for you and not kind of taking advantage of you. So there is still such a it's such importance to really know those jobs yourself too as an artist coming up. So that's what I would say as well for that.
All right. Well, Jordan and Kristen, seeing you're in your car, I'll let you get on with your day. I appreciate you. I always appreciate folks when they take the time, especially to go and sit in their car and do interview here on the Signals. And good luck with the rest of the weekend now. And congrats again on the noms.
Thanks so much for having us.
I quote the Raven there. Yeah, the education. Like, did you think, like, when you're the whole of all the learning about the industry, when you first started writing songs, like, when did you start to realize, oh my gosh, there's so much to learn and know, and yet, and here I am? Well,
as soon as I started working in the industry, I thought, look, a lot of people on the way up have jobs. Right? We don't talk about it sometimes. We go work. You work for your uncle, or you work for. I know
so many
musicians
who are known, and day jobs or side jobs, or you name it,
hairdresser, or you're a nurse, or all kinds of different dual careers, right? I just remember thinking at a time, I come from a university environment, and did some teaching, and then I wanted to learn about. I thought, why can't I learn about music while doing my day job? It made sense. I was educating myself, and that turned into educating my peers. I'd be in a songwriting session, and at the end of it, the songwriter would lean in and go, what's the difference between a performing right and a mechanical right? Or how do I register this? Or what's an IPI number? So I ended up kind of naturally being a little bit of a go-to business person for my colleagues. And I was happy to help with that. But there is a lot to learn, and it's always changing. New income streams, we're talking about those. There's synchronization, which has been around for a while. And for the listeners who don't know, that's getting your song in film and television, video games.
I was about to ask. I'm like, I don't know what synchronization is.
Right? So that's what that is. And, it's merchandise. There's so many ways that you can monetize. Social media now was not a thing when I started. I remember, just getting a website was a thing. But now you have to be posting, and you have to be on all the different socials, and you have to be revealing things about your life, not just about your craft.
And that's
it's
work,
just a
right?
different
That is all
world.
work. Like, that is not nothing. Like, the planning for social media, for whatever platform you're on, it takes some thought, right? And
Absolutely.
time when you're wanting to maybe be performing and doing the other stuff, or just trying to figure out more about getting paid, right?
Yeah, I think people underestimate how much work the social media aspect is, and asking artists to be constantly self-promoting and posting.
But
and
authentic and all this other nonsense, yeah.
Yeah, it's another job on top of just the creating.
I mean, one of the benefits, I would say, is there is that relationship that people can have with their fans. It's very, although virtual, more direct than ever. Someone doesn't have to come out to a show to see you. Often it's the other way around. They're going to see you on socials and then maybe come find you and come to your show.
Right.
Or not. It's really different audiences, and lots of ways to consume music now that didn't exist before.
Joining us on the line, we've got Neon Dreams, Frank Cadillac, and Adrian Morris. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, thanks for coming on the show. So let me see. I think most people know who you are, but there's a wide range of folks listening to the show. So everyone, Halifax-based alt-pop duo, 4 noms for the 2025 East Coast Music Awards, I believe. Congrats on those.
Thank you so much.
How many countries have you both toured in?
Oh, man.
I never counted because Europe's a bunch of countries, isn't it?
Yeah, Europe's a lot of them. Geez, off the top of my head, we must be close, somewhere between 20 and 30, if I had to guess.
Yeah, so that's a lot. How when you rewind to the start of that, how did that kick off, and what did you learn about it over the years?
Well, the start of it, we were just excited to get booked in Newfoundland for the very first time.
There you go.
Somewhere outside of our province. Newfoundland was the first place to book us outside of Nova Scotia.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and then looking back, we didn't really play a whole lot internationally until the past few years, where we had a song break out in a country called South Africa that just opened so many doors for us in other countries to go visit.
What was that first concert like in South Africa?
Oh man, I've never heard so many people scream so loud in my life until that first show. That's when we knew we had a song that really affected people, and they took with them in their daily lives, and showed all their friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I will never forget a moment from that first show. I was turned around and I was about to play. We play a couple acoustic songs in our set. So I had gotten off the drum kit. I picked up an acoustic guitar. And in that time during the transition, there's a little bit of dead air. And the crowd just started chanting, Neon Dreams over and over. And I was like, is this real? This is the first time I'm on the other side of the world playing a show. And this crowd is chanting it, and they were singing every word. It was just this crazy experience.
Yeah, because not everyone gets that, and to put the work in, and then to have something hit like that, and then to be on stage. What does that mean? After that moment, what happens with the next shows? And are you chasing that again, or is there a constant on it? How does it work?
We had a really unique situation going into South Africa where nobody was talking. We had the pandemic going on, and our music started creating this in South Africa, and we had build some hype, and when are they coming? Are they come? Nobody really knows until the moment that we got to go, and then we sold out our first tour about an October. It was crazy because we had never sold out a tour in our life, let alone selling out shows on their own has not always been promised. And then to have every single show on this entire tour out within an hour, it was wild, and it took a lot of preparation. But I think there was a storyline leading into it.
We're having some breakup on the phone line here. I'll try one more question before I let you go. What's the plan now for the rest of the weekend for the ECMAs?
Well, we're playing a show in Clarenville tonight, and then we are headed into St. John's, and we're playing at the Jag Sound House. And then on Sunday, we have a free show 1 to 4 p.m. in St. John's, right on George Street. It's all ages. Anyone can come. 1 to 4 p.m. free, just right at the bandstand there.
Excellent. Frank, Adrian, thank you so much. Good luck in Clarenville now tonight. And Clarenville, enjoy that. You're going to, obviously massively enjoy this show. Neon Dreams, thanks so much, guys.
I appreciate you.
Right. Cheers. Yeah, but every so often you get, gremlins in the phone lines. But we got most of that. I love that story, right? All of a sudden, like in South Africa and hitting big and then just hearing the name of your, just chanted. Again, like on the business side of it, but also as musicians. When you hear something like that, like what is it? People achieving their dreams and also success financially through this. What does that say to both of you?
Well, the internet has been great for export, right? You don't need to have someone from South Africa come to your show when you can, post and people, can see it anywhere in the world. So, yeah, that's, again, you got to be posting, even though you might not always feel the need to. But, just look at a story like that and see the potential of where your music can be heard just from, your bedroom, really.
Mm.
Yeah, and hope they have, someone has a good team when that breaks.
Yeah.
Because it could happen. These opportunities come up and you have to be ready to seize them. So what if you're charting in, South Africa? Okay, how are you going to get there? Do you have the infrastructure to be able to pay for and front a tour like that? And hopefully you can. So it's, I think it's having all of those relationships, because this business is about relationships, knowing the people you can call in that moment when you're like, I have a charting song, can you help me? Can I get an advance, right? Or can someone lend me the money, or is someone going to take this tour on? It's just knowing those. It's important to build relationships so that you can seize the moment when opportunities come.
Yeah, what is Ina Garten says, be ready when the luck happens. So go to your SOCAN 101s and your CMRA 101s and learn about these things because, things might happen fast and we try to be as accessible as possible. That's why we come to all of these conferences and we try to do education. I know so does Andrea's organization.
Yeah.
So, and we're covering this now as we're talking about those basics for the 101s, or if someone comes up to you like this weekend at the ECMAs, it's brand new, but they had a good set somewhere, and they're like, I don't know, help, I want to do more. And what do you tell them?
Email me. Yeah, let's set up a meeting. And, we SOCAN's great at organizing public events for people to attend and also just setting up one-on-one if you need that type of support as well.
Yeah, reach out and cmrra.ca. All the information is there. And when I heard that story, my very first thought was, I hope they're claiming their royalties in South Africa. I hope they have representation there. And if not, CMRA has an ability to collect international reproduction right royalties. Yeah. In South Africa. So it's really just worrying, making sure, are you going to get your money? How can we help you?
Getting involved in organizations like, I'll say SOCAN Foundation, Quote the Raven was saying that SiriusXM, they could get up to $50 USD on a play. So we partner with SiriusXM on the Black Canadian Music Awards, and that's I think it's a monetary prize of $5,000 to $10,000 for 10 Black Canadian artists each year. And then you're on SiriusXM's radar. So again, it's just apply, put yourself out there, and you never know. That could be the thing. If you get an honorable mention for that, then all of a sudden you're on SiriusXM's radar. So
and it can be $50 a play, which is, boom, $50. That's great if you can get there.
Absolutely. In
this sea of music being created all the time. What are, and you've talked about this too a little bit, but what are some of the other common oopsies or mistakes that folks make in the beginning or through when they're trying to get going with careers that could be helped by the 101s and everything else?
Kind of not keeping track of things as you go.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'll give an analogy. It's really hard to figure out how to do your taxes the day before your taxes are due. Right? Yeah. So it's the same with songwriting. You're in a songwriting session. Once you're done that session, send a note around to everybody, marking the date, the time, the title, getting the contact information of everybody, and keeping note of that. Keep it in a spreadsheet. Then you're in a position, if you decide to release that song or if somebody else does, to submit it to your performing rights organization, your CMRA, your SOCAN, wherever. Keep it all in one place. Just keeping track of all the numbers is really important so that you can do your business, and also so that when someone comes along from that team, from that management team, to help you, or a publisher, you actually have that data to give them. You're not starting over. You can hit the ground running. So take care of your business.
Yeah. Anything in your head?
Yeah, be careful of the people who you surround yourself with. Unfortunately, there are, some predatory people in the music industry when it comes to, they could see a great up-and-coming songwriter and get them involved in a deal that's not going to be beneficial to them in, the short or long run. So if you're making those connections, networking, and finding trustworthy people, from trustworthy organizations that can help guide you when, you are presented with certain deals. Because unfortunately, we do see artists who often get, kind of into these contracts that are hard to get out of because someone saw their talent and they were like, I can kind of get a piece of that. So
I would say the most important team member and first team member should be an entertainment lawyer. As much as it's expensive, potentially, or we think, it's expensive
you think
to get
you
a
say
legal
lawyer and it's like, money, right?
But it's a relationship. You don't need to have somebody in retainer. Start looking around, start meeting, those folks, so that when you're ready also, and you have a contract presented, you're not in a position to, first of all, never sign anything unless you read it, unless you have someone else read it as well, right? So it's good to...
Yeah, one of the best music lawyers is out on the East Coast, Matt Gorman in Halifax, who works with tons of emerging artists and, helps them get set up when they're getting their team together.
I've had a bunch of conversations with local acts over the last few years of just the transition from everything closing down with the pandemic and then trying to reboot and get things up and running again. Where's the feeling at on this journey now within the industry of the rebound of things?
I mean, I feel like the industry is doing really well. CMRA distributed almost $100 million last year in royalties. It really increased the uptick in streaming and people were stuck in their homes. Music became more important than ever. I think we're back now. It's changed the way songwriting happens. I will say that we used to all get in a room and write, and over the pandemic, we learned to write over Zoom.
What was that process like? We keep going.
Look, you're looking at somebody in the eyes. You can look at them in the eyes on a screen. It's better than a phone.
That's true, yeah.
There's nothing like having a coffee and sitting in a room with somebody and having that connection. But you really can do it over Zoom. You really can have those collaborative relationships. And what I found now is what a lot of us do is we may have that, the ideal is being physically in the room with somebody. But maybe you start the session there. Big part of songwriting is editing and, going away and coming back. So a lot of times now we'll have these hybrid sessions where, you'll write in the room and then you follow up on Zoom or you meet on Zoom. It's really become like any workplace.
Yeah.
It's more hybrid than it's ever been.
Yeah, I think the pandemic for like the live and the venue industry has been, good in some ways, bad in some ways. It's almost like the class disparity. There's these super overpriced tickets and venues. Like a new venue is being built in Toronto Rogers Stadium just for the Oasis concert, but it's not even going to be a long-term venue apparently, just for a couple years, for a couple contracts. And then a lot of the smaller mid-sized venues are getting squeezed out. So whatever artists and I would say audiences can do to support like local venues, going to shows perhaps of artists you might not have heard of before, and just, if you're going to go out for drinks for with your friends or date night, like think about going to a music show or go to a venue and get the drinks there and listen to some live music. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean here in St. John's, there's some great spots to check out that people are supporting, and the new Jag Soundhouse as well, which is for Sunday. Have you folks been in there yet?
We'll be there today, I think.
Oh, today? Yeah. Okay. I have not been inside. I've seen video of it. It looks fantastic. So do enjoy that. We on the line. Jah'Mila is on the line. Juno nominated, Halifax-based reggae musician. 5 ECMA nominations, 1 Best R&B Soul, I believe, last night, if my notes are correct. How you doing?
Hey, Adam. How are you doing?
Great. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Is this your first time in St. John's?
Yes, it is, and it's been a fun time so far.
Yeah, you come in, people giving you awards. It's a good way to start. Tell us.
I know, I'll have to come back.
Yeah, well, we'll just there will be more awards waiting, right? So each time, this is a thing now that we'll have to do. Tell folks a bit about how you got your start in the music industry.
Yes, that's a great question. I have never remembered my life without music.
Yeah.
But professionally, I must have been paid for the first time for singing when I was about 6 or 7 years old. It was a church event. And I started touring full on as a supporting vocalist for some popular reggae acts when I was around 21. My first tour was with the Wailers, where I toured with Aston Family Man Barrett, a very notable bass player. And I continued touring for several years. But then I moved here. I got married to a Kate Bretner. Would you believe it, Adam? And I ended up over here, and there wasn't a lot of reggae, some reggae, but I felt like I needed to keep a piece of my roots and culture alive, and I love music so much. So that's when I started my own independent career.
Amazing. I know from like Arlette Lazarenko, who the associate producer on the show, me and Arlette were talking about, because she was chatting with you, and she mentioned that you spend a lot of time thinking about music education and accessibility. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely. It's been really interesting because during the pandemic period, I collaborated with the National Arts Centre Orchestra of Canada and Daniel Bartholomew Poyser, a conductor that does a lot of work in the community with music education. And we developed a lot of programming had to pivot to virtual during the COVID, right? Mm. And that included youth programs as well. And so we created, to foster not only music education but cultural exchange, we fostered a program called Reggae Roots Education. Long and short of it all is that this program allowed me to go into schools and interact with a lot of students, several thousands of them. And what I've come to notice, Adam, is that they are hungry for music. They're hungry for live music. They rave harder than the people in the nightclubs. I promise you, they love the stuff. No, it's true. And it just dawned on me that this is an underrepresented demographic of people that love music and want it, but they don't always get to see all the greatest bands. It might not be as lucrative for people to have events with students, but I'm committed to sharing my art with them as much as I can.
Yeah, and that goes so far too. If you start getting a variety of folks and showing like the full breadth of performers and performances and types of music and backgrounds that people have, I'm just thinking of just how educational and important it could be for as folks slowly but surely start to get older and think about what they like and think about different cultural experiences. I mean, it's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. It does so much more. It goes beyond the music, and it goes towards DEI overall and fosters, I think, a more inclusive community at the end of it all.
Yeah, understanding each other, and well, in this case, enjoying some great music together, which is such a great thing to do. What else is on your list for the next couple of days?
Okay, so tonight I'm so excited to play the actual showcase at the Majestic Theatre. I walked by there. It's a beautiful building, but if you folks are available to come out at 10:30 p.m. tonight at the Majestic Theatre, you'll be hearing my band. We have some reggae music planned for you.
Excellent. Knock 'em dead tonight. Good luck with the gig. Yeah, the Majestic, the refurb on that place looks great with the lights at night. So welcome, congrats, and hopefully you'll be back in before too long, but enjoy the time here.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on the program.
All right, Jah'Mila, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, folks, lots, look, go on the sites for the ECMAs if you're curious about music, and also we heard from Neon Dreams earlier, Clarenville tonight as well. No shortage of music being played with the ECMAs in town. So we're talking just there with Jah'Mila. Essentially, it's underserved demographics. Talking about kids, talking about DEI, EDI, you name it. We only have like a couple of minutes left, but where's the conversation these days in the music industry with inclusion, diversity? Because I know it's been there, but how is it, especially when we're looking south of the border, what's happening there? How is it going in Canada with the continued conversation around everything?
Well, we're lucky, like at SOCAN and SOCAN Foundation, that'll always remain a priority for us. I'd love to shout out some of the great programming that we do. We have a program called Equity Times Production Mentorship, sponsored by Mix with the Masters, which is a French organization, and that is for women, non-binary, gender-expansive communities to learn production engineering. So to remedy, the disparity of female to male producers. We do an Indigenous music residency, Indigenous song camp, emerging composers mentorship program. So a lot of our work is prioritizing DEI and groups who equity deserving groups, helping them build their sustainable careers in the music industry.
Andrea, what were you
And
saying?
Her Music Awards.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
mentioned that. Sorry, Holly mentioned the Her Music
Yeah,
Awards.
let's talk
Absolutely.
about that.
The Her Music Awards, sponsored by Anthem Entertainment, and Andrea was on our jury this year. We selected 2 amazing artists, Angeli and Kaya Cater. It's for mid-career female-identifying artists, and it's a $10,000 prize, and just a great way to highlight some of our really well-deserving members at SOCAN.
What's it like for you to this work makes a difference. What does that feel like for you?
Oh, it's very rewarding. I mean, I don't see myself doing anything else. I'm very lucky to do it. And yeah, how much fun is it to call an artist up and tell them that they've won $10,000? Like, that's a pretty fun part of the job.
Yeah, I can see you wanting to make that call all day long, right? Just to hear the reaction. I mean, it's excellent.
I think most people at their job have to call people and say, like, you owe $10,000. So yeah, it's much better than that.
Yeah, the opposite's much better. I just phone people and bother them to come on the radio. So I should try this giving $10,000 away thing. It sounds really nice.
Yeah. I mean, I think Canada's leaning in.
Yeah, feels that way.
We're not changing what we're doing, and we can always do better, and we can always do more. And every day at CMRA, we say that every day we strive to do better. We support Advance, Black Music Collective, and are working. We have a DEI committee, and are very committed to inclusive workplaces and the music industry. And I just think we all work together. To make the world a better place. I think we're almost acting, don't want to get into politics or on the air, but
hey,
I think
it's all okay.
Jah'Mila winning last night and the way that she spoke the truth. And I think I called my series Four Chords and the Truth because I think the truth is undying and it's important. And we just have to be scared not to speak it in every room.
I think that's a great ending point for this conversation today. Thank you both for coming in. Thank you for the chat. Last quick question. So after this today, what's the next thing you're both doing? Do you even know?
ECMA is offering like an audiologist hearing test, so I'm going to go get my hearing tested.
Hey, I heard they're doing that.
Yeah, it's free for all artists, so I would say, if you want to get your hearing tested, go for that.
You know what? Going to go check out some showcases. Going to plan the day, figure out everywhere I need to be. It's a full pack schedule, so enjoy some music, I think.
Andrea England, Holly Hudson, thank you so much. Folks, as I wanted to mention this, as we're winding down this show here, Mark Hiscock is, passed away, beloved musician, founding member of the iconic musical group Shanneyganock for more than 3 decades. Mark was a fantastic person. Been around him a few times. Was lucky enough over the years professionally. So we'll have Shanneyganock bring us out, and for the group and everyone within Mark's life, we're thinking about you and deepest condolences. Cheers.
Where plenty boats were busy on the bay, where traps, gill nets and hand lines was load and go all day. In the fall you'd salt your codfish, spread it out upon the flakes, till it dried out in the sunshine, all caught with making breaks. Go to sleep, you little fishers, dream of days when fish were dear, but your dreams they can't be answered, they have all but disappeared. Go to sleep, you little fishers, dream of days when fish were there, but your dreams they can't be answered, they have all but disappeared. Better ways as we fish those summer days. The embrace the oil, our future as your traps they rot away. Just off the stage, each boats were moored, now on the beach they rot. Thought the fish would last forever, no, they're all now nearly